Hello, welcome to our online pre-event. I was going to say pre-event party, and that's what it is. It's our pre-event party for Peace Promise. We are so excited that you are joining us virtually, so I'm going to tell you this right now. Hit share. We want everyone to be able to watch what is going to happen tonight. There's going to be so many amazing things. You're going to hear some amazing stories. We have an amazing speaker, and you're just going to be able to hear what the mission is about Peace Promise and what we are doing here in this local area. And so hit share, don't forget, and I want you to comment too. So right in the chat, if you could tell me where you are watching from, that would be really, really great. And so first off, to get us kicked off and started tonight in our pre-event party, I want to talk to Pastor Tim. So Pastor Tim, can you join us? And I'll let you know, even though we are in this room and there's no one in here, everyone is in the atrium eating up some dessert. I don't get to eat dessert, though, because I'm in here talking to each of you. But
I will bring you some dessert.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to getting some dessert. I better get some chocolate or something like this. So here is Pastor Tim, and he's going to talk a little bit about the mission of Peace Promise. So you are on the board for Peace Promise. Can you tell me what Peace Promise does?
Yeah, I just joined the board, I think like a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Susan had come to me and said, hey, would you consider coming and being a part of the board? And I said no. And I just had so many other things going on. But then she came back to me again. Yeah. The Lord was just stirring my heart, and so I said yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Peace Promise is, I heard first about Peace Promise when our pastor from Christ Community Church, he went to one of their events where they showed a movie called Nefarious, that it struck me deep to the core.
Wow.
Of women being rescued, but not only rescued, actually to be loved on, to be healed, and set on a good path, who were involved in the sex industry or trafficking. And that's what Peace Promise is all about, extending hope to people who feel like they're trapped and there's no way out. So Peace Promise is more than just, hey, let me help you get out, but it's, hey, let me help you get your life on track. Let me walk you and help you get healed. Let me help you not just break free, but get healed, walk free, get your life on track, put things in order and take steps. And so it's a very hands-on ministry. It's not a ministry where we just pray for people. We do that, but it's extremely hands-on. We have women on our team that are all about helping women walk it out in very tangible ways.
Yeah, and I love, if you heard Pastor Tim, he's saying rescue. And there's another word I heard too. It's rescue and restored.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's such an amazing picture, right, of who God is, right? And that he comes to rescue us and restore us. And he's doing it through so many volunteers that are helping with Peace Promise. # Peace Promise.
Lakita, so many people talk about, trafficking, if you think about it, is a very in thing to people wanting to be a part of that. And I love that. But some people are so caught up in I just want to see them get out.
Yeah.
And then I want to move on from there. Yeah. And that's only part of the picture. Yeah. It's about getting them restored and healed so that they can live life to the fullest. John 10:10, Jesus came to give us life to the fullest.
Yeah.
And that's what we want for the women that we come in touch with. Over the top, super abundant life.
Yeah, and there's countless stories. So even tonight, as you stay online with us, you're going to hear testimonials of women that have come out of this horrendous industry, but they're now whole, right? And they're helping other women, and they're in business, they're helping in entrepreneurial events. And so I can't wait to hear a little bit more about that tonight. I won't talk about that. That's coming up. You need to wait, because you'll hear that tonight from Susan. But you mentioned Susan, the board president. I will tell you, every single time I hear Susan share the story of Peace Promise, I'm like,
I know, right? I know.
Like every single time,
When I hear her tell her story, it reminds me why I said yes.
Yeah. And it's so important today, right, to be connected with, a lot of people are involved in several different types of nonprofits, right?
Yep.
But it's important to be connected to something that has a true mission.
It really
that's
is.
really helping
Yep.
people. And I love how you said earlier, it's not just about rescuing people out, but it's about the restoration. And it's
Yes.
about walking alongside
Yes.
people, right?
Yep.
So I think that is so cool. So you said you've been on the board for about
A year and a half. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so if people wanted to volunteer, how could they volunteer?
They can
with
go to
Peace
our
Promise?
website, and we'll
Okay.
talk about that later tonight, but you can go on our website, and there is an option on the menu called Get Involved. You can click on that. Love to have you be a part of it. But also follow us on Facebook and Instagram, because there's plenty of opportunities on there to serve and participate.
Yeah, and so Pastor Tim, you mentioned something too about being a hope giver,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so it's really important. Some of you may be watching and you're like, and you heard Pastor Tim talk about, this horrendous industry that's going on right here in our own country, and sometimes even in our local
It's in our
areas,
backyard,
right?
Lakita.
And so what can we do? And so sometimes we can look at the problem and we're like, it's so big.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I can do. But go to the website and you can see there's so many different ways that you can partner with and support the mission so that you can also help rescue and restore women.
That's right.
Yeah. So could you go get me dessert?
I will go get you
I
dessert.
want dessert, guys.
Our
Shouldn't
board
I have
president
dessert?
is here. Look at that.
Oh my goodness. I got some. Look at that. I got like 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Here,
5.
come on up here, Susan.
5. Yes, Susan, come have a seat.
I'll see you soon.
5. Okay, thanks, Tim. I have 5 desserts. Look at that. That's chocolate covered
That's as many as I could fit
strawberries.
on
Look at
one
that,
plate.
On one plate.
That
This
is a
looks
chocolate
amazing.
peanut butter mousse cup.
Oh, I like chocolate and peanut butter. It's like the best thing, right? And then
And
there's
that's a
like
lavender honey macaron.
whoa.
Fancy stuff.
So who helps and who partners with Peace Promise?
I mean, from a volunteer standpoint?
Or even just from businesses. I saw on the website, there's so many
yeah.
sponsors
Oh, yeah.
that are connecting to the mission.
Our volunteers and our sponsors are just the best human beings on the planet. I just don't know how we got so blessed by our sponsors, but we have so many sponsors. Every time we do an event, they just give generously. They do matching gifts for us and Giving Tuesday.
Wow.
I'm afraid to mention some because if I do it off the top of my head, I'm going to leave somebody out, and I don't want to do that.
But you can go to the website and you can say.
and you can look at our sponsors there. And our volunteers are amazing.
Yeah.
We never are short.
Yeah.
We are never short. We have as many volunteers as we need for everything. It's just amazing.
And I tell you, we're here. There is a large crowd of people that are standing outside these auditorium doors that are having dessert, but it's filled with people that support Peace Promise. There's so many shirts out there. I saw it. I was like, I need a Peace Promise shirt.
You
right?
do. You should have
I
several.
don't know why Tim didn't get us a shirt.
Right? We
for
have tank
tonight.
tops, we have short sleeves, we have long sleeves.
So I would encourage you to make sure that you go on the website and you can see all of the different items that you can purchase. There's soaps for survivors there, and
Water
even our
bottles.
auction- water bottles. And then we're going to talk about the auction. But before we talk about the auction, can you tell us briefly what made you? Because you're the co-founder, so you're not just the president of the board. You're the co-founder. So how did you get to this place? Like, did you imagine being here with this big mission?
Never.
And people partnering with you?
Absolutely not. I don't think anybody, I know that no little girl dreams of sexual exploitation being her life. There's not a little girl in the world that dreams when she's 5, 6, twirling around in her room in a pretty dress about being in prostitution. Nobody dreams of that. And nobody dreams of trying to help people come out of that. Until your eyes are open and until you learn about it, you don't even know that help is required, help is needed. So really it was a calling from God for me. A woman by the name of Lindsay Flanagan was in a life group with my husband and I in 2008. She watched a Dateline NBC special, learned about it, brought it to the life group. And initially I said, hey, I'll help you with your prayer team, I'll help you with your project planning, but I really don't want to hear the stories because they're awful. But God came to me anyway in prayer. I started to pray for her, and he showed me himself. You know how when you close your eyes, you can like picture a red ball?
Yeah.
Well, in your mind, you can picture things. And as I was praying once, I saw Jesus walk out of a brothel with a young girl. And I was seated on the ground. He placed her in my lap, and he looked at me, and he said, what would you do if it was your daughter?
Yeah.
And I looked back at him and I said I'd go get her. And what he knew I meant was over, around, or through any obstacle till my dying breath until I had her back.
Yeah.
And then he said, they are all my children.
Yeah.
And for me, that was enough. I said, okay, I'll go. I understand now. To God, every one of these young women, every one of these women is as important to him as my daughter is to me.
Yeah.
So I'm very willing to go because he asked me to go.
Yeah.
And I believe he gives us, because it's a calling for us, he gives us a protection in it that you might not have otherwise, you know, so that we're not carrying around a lot of secondary trauma, those sorts of things. We feel pretty covered by God in it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, every single time I hear you share that, I'm just like, it gives me the chills, because then I relate that to myself, and I think of my daughter too, right? And so, Susan, I love your commitment and your passion for this mission and the work that's being done. I'm telling you, you will not want to miss the rest of tonight, the stories, and you have some cool things that you want to tell us about, but we're not going to talk about it now.
Right.
You know, I don't want to give out, too much, because you need to be able to stay online to watch it. But there's some great things that Peace Promise is doing, and so you definitely want to hear about it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to talk to, we have a guest speaker, y'all, all the way from, I'm going to say from
Texas.
borderline Texas, but before Texas, but before Texas, San Francisco, right? And so you are our guest speaker tonight, and we are so excited to have you here, right?
It's an honor to be here tonight.
Yes, awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience with this industry and how you are being an advocate to help women and rescue women out of the sex industry?
Yeah, well, I'm a survivor myself. So I experienced child sexual exploitation from the age of 7 through 12 by a pedophile who was our next door neighbor. So I have this experience that, no little girl should ever go through. Yeah. And unfortunately for me, I didn't have memory of it either because I was drugged every time. So it wasn't until my adulthood that I actually knew what happened to me. So about 7, 8 years ago, I started to share my story. And it's amazing how many women have come forward just from hearing my story. The memories, they get stored away. Your brain tries to protect you. So there's a lot of women out there that don't really understand what happened to them, even if it wasn't like what I went through, but in different venues and different ways as well. Yeah.
Well, we're so excited that you're here tonight and that you're going to be able to share that story. And so it's a hard topic, right? It's not one of those fun topics to necessarily talk about that people are talking around the dining room table. But if there's a woman that's watching right now and has experienced sexual exploitation, is there something that you would want to say to her?
Yeah, I would want to say reach out to this organization, reach out to somebody safe. And I know this organization is very safe. And just start to talk about what you went through and start the journey of healing, because when we stay silent, then we stay in prison. And so when we speak up and we start to articulate and share what we've been through, the healing journey begins, and it's amazing, and it's worth it. It's so hard in the middle, and it's so hard going through it, but it's so worth it in the end.
Yeah, the healing is so worth it.
Yes.
And just like she said, it's important for you to connect with Peace Promise because it is a safe space with women and individuals who love you, who see you the way God sees you. Sometimes we go through situations and we don't see ourselves pretty well.
Yeah, exactly.
We see ourselves through the lens of trauma, right? But this is a safe space and some amazing people. So I'm so excited to hear you tonight. Did you get dessert?
No, I'll get some. Thank you.
You're gonna get some dessert. Okay, yes.
Okay.
Thank you for coming up and talking to
you.
me. All right, so what else do we need to talk about tonight? So for our pre-party, I want to tell you what's going on online. Who likes to shop? If you're online and you like to shop, I need you to type in the chat, me. That is so me. So I'm going to talk about the ways that you can shop and support right? Peace Promise at the same time. So you can see here in front of us, we have some gift baskets, and I have Dr. Brooke on my left side here, and she's going to talk about the auction and what we are doing. So remember I said there's this large crowd of people that are waiting outside to get in. They're eating dessert, though, so I think that's why they're happy. They're okay?
Absolutely. And the desserts are amazing.
Yeah, did you see my desserts? Look at the ones I got.
I know.
I'm going to eat those over there.
I had a caramel thing that was divine.
Oh,
my
it looks
goodness.
so good. So they're out there eating dessert, but they're also looking at some of the items that we have available for the auction. So Dr. Brooke, tell us about the auction.
I am so excited to tell you about the auction. So the auction is, we have a lot of wonderful items this year. There's currently a bidding war over Sight and Sound theater tickets.
Ooh. Which one? Which play? Is there a specific one?
David. It's just opened.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. We have, if you look at some of the gift baskets on stage, I currently have my eye on this Kalina coffee basket. They support Love the Hill with Allison Hill in Harrisburg. So not only are you supporting us, you're supporting them too. The Baby Yoda basket has been a big one. You can kind of see that down in front for obvious reasons because it's adorable. But you know, I think one of the reasons why I volunteer to do this auction every year is because it just means so much more than just cool items. You know, the ladies we work with have spent a lot of their lives being told that they're not worthy. And when we come together as a community, these businesses, people, groups, we have small groups, we have churches who donate all of these things. It's not just stuff. It is a love letter to our ladies. It is a community coming around them and saying, you know what, we'll fight for you. And I think that's why I do this every year, because as I put this together and, you know, I see these items start to roll in, what it symbolizes just means so much. So can I tell our audience how to bid?
Yeah, please tell them.
Okay.
You need to know how to do this.
Okay. So our social media person, Megan, is going to put the link to how to get to our auction, right? Yes, she said yes. So you can go to our online bidding website. It's 32 Auctions, and you'll see the link to it. And you register for an account. I promise it takes roughly 13 seconds.
13 seconds, only 13 seconds.
You have my promise. And then you can bid on the items there, and you can kind of sort through them. And one of the cool features, and one of the things I love about 32 Auctions, is you can even do proxy bidding, where you say, you know what, I love this Baby Yoda basket, and I'm willing to spend $70 for it, and you can put that in, and then it'll minimum bid for you up. You know, you don't even have to sit there and watch it, which is very nice. Although I sit there and watch mine because I really want that coffee.
I did go out there to look to see where we were for the goal. So yeah,
how close are we?
40%. So guys, we still got some ways to go. So
Sure do.
yeah,
I love this community.
yeah. And so here's the thing: I want you to go out there right now. I don't want you to wait, because I think you need to start bidding now, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Because you got some people out here, right, that are here locally that are eating dessert, and they're having chocolate, and they're going to get very energetic, and then they're going to start to go out and bid. So you need to go bid right now to get some of these amazing items. And there's more items online. So you can go to the Peace Promise website first if you want to find the link, or you can go to, what was the second link that you provided?
She's going to post it right in this live stream right now, so they should be able to find it.
Just click. That's all you got to do.
Absolutely.
Just click. Take your 13 seconds. Do a little shopping before we get started to go into our main event.
And they have until 10 p.m. tomorrow night. That's when the auction closes. So
10 p.m.
Get
Okay, so
bidding.
tell me a little bit too. So you're on the board,
I am.
right? And so how did you get involved in? So we know that you love doing the auction.
I do.
So, but tell me, how did you get involved to start supporting Peace Promise?
Oh, you know, it was the stories of the ladies. I think, you know, I had some friends who did work with Peace Promise, and I did some volunteer projects here and there. And just over time, your heart just breaks, you know. And I teach at Messiah, and I would see our ladies who were the same age as these students who were sitting in my seats, and I would just think how different how one or two generational decisions in their lives could be exactly like these ladies. And you know, I just think just over time, I decided that this was where my heart is, and you know, these ladies are absolutely worth our fight. You meet them, and you you would fight for them too, all of you out there listening, because they're wonderful women who just have so much to offer the world.
Yeah, I love how Dr. Brooke, you said that they are worth the fight.
They really are.
Every single woman, they are worth the fight. So I'm going to tell you, go to the Peace Promise website or click on the link that's in the chat, do a little shopping, and by doing that, you are helping in that fight. You are supporting, you are making a difference.
Thank you, community.
So I just want to tell you, thank you, Dr. Brooke. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm about to do. I got 10 minutes because we're going to start at 7:30. So you all get to do what I'm getting ready to do. But I don't think you have this kind of dessert at your house. But go to your fridge, get something to eat, get something to drink real quick, and then meet us back here at 7:30. Don't get rid of your live. Stay on your live. And we will be back here in 10 minutes so that you can actually see everything that we're going to do tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Evening, everybody.
Hey there.
Welcome tonight to Peace Promise's annual benefit for love and freedom.
Woo!
I'm Tim Spurk. I am one of the board of directors members, and I'm also a pastor full-time on staff at Christ Community Church.
And I am Lakita, and I'm a passionate supporter of Peace Promise.
And a pastor yourself.
Oh, and a pastor myself, and a talker, and a speaker, and all those
of the
other things,
above.
too. And a eater, too.
Yep.
Okay, so dessert, right? Did everybody get dessert? So I will tell you, they put me to work. So I didn't get a chance to eat dessert like everyone else did. You guys were all smiling out there. Not me, but I got a plate of dessert. So I'm so excited.
So
It's all mine.
I have to recommend the macaroons.
The macaroons are good?
They're top.
Who would say the macaroons?
notch.
Macaroons? Okay. And they're so pretty,
Cheesecake.
too. Look at that. Cheesecake.
And anything covered in chocolate, even remotely, is from heaven. Streets of gold, you can have your streets of gold. I would like streets of chocolate, so.
But nothing in the world beats chocolate and peanut butter together. Do I have a witness in the house? Tell you, this is like you know how we all love Chick-fil-A chicken? It's the same thing. Like, this is God's
Same thing.
dessert.
Absolutely.
Peanut butter and chocolate.
Absolutely.
So don't be surprised if you see me from time to time, nibbling on my
munching down a little
dessert.
bit, yep.
Because I didn't get a chance to have any.
Well, we are glad that you guys are here tonight. Let's take a moment. We're glad that you're here, but let's welcome the presence of the Lord. He's already here in this place. So, Heavenly Father, we welcome you into this place. We just pray that your presence would just settle over our time together here today. We love encounters we've had with one another in the lobby, and we will have throughout the night here in this room as we talk to one another, but also hear stories and hear testimonies. But we also want to walk out of this place having encountered you and your heart. So we welcome you, and we receive you, and we just even ask tonight, would you open up our hearts and open up our eyes and let us see the way you see. Let us hear the way you hear. Let us love the way you love. And let us move the way you move, I pray. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Well, tonight we are going to share with you stories of transformation. We're also going to introduce you to women who we've had the opportunity to link up with. You're going to hear their testimonies of what God's done in their lives, what Peace Promise has been able to do to be able to link up and help women get free from the sex industry. We're really excited to share these stories. We're also going to show you what relentless love looks like. We're going to show you what your prayers accomplish. Every time we pray, something happens. So we want to show you tonight what your prayers are accomplishing, not only in the heavenlies, but here on the earth. We're going to also just show you what happens when doors open up to us at Peace Promise, and how when we can step in and actually provide something substantial and concrete to a woman. And that's because you said yes to partner with us. So we're so glad that you did. You know, when you read through the Bible, you see countless times where God always goes after the ones who can't help themselves. This is so big on his heart to help those who can't help themselves. And I love that he doesn't just do it, but he invites us to partner with him to do it with him. So thank you tonight for partnering with us in helping women.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, we had our pre-party a little bit earlier
we did.
online, and so we got the opportunity to talk to some of the board members and volunteers, and there was a constant word that I heard, or several, but it was the whole rescue and restore. Rescue and restore. And so that's what Peace Promise does. It's not just about, and I think you said this earlier, Pastor Tim, not just about rescuing women, but actually restoring them, right? Yeah. I love how you said seeing people the way that God sees them. And so there are women that find themselves in these situations that they never planned on being there, right? I love how Susan shared earlier that no woman or no young girl at a young age plans and says, one day when I grow up, I want to be, right? And so sometimes they find themselves in these situations and they can't get help. But that's where Peace Promise has come in our local area, and there's some big things that are coming to do even more. And so you, every single one of you purchased a ticket, you better be doing the auction. We're gonna make sure later on that y'all doing the auction. I'm gonna check everybody's phone to make sure you're doing the auction. You are actually partnering and you're helping to go rescue and restore. That's right. Rescue and restore. Rescue and restore. So we're so grateful that you're here, right? Because Jesus wants us all to have an abundant life, right? Not just me, not just you, but all of us and everyone. So loving that Peace Promise is helping to do that in our own backyard and our surrounding areas. So I'm so excited to introduce someone tonight. So Susan, where is Susan? Susan, y'all like my singing? So I just want to tell you about Susan. Susan is one of the co-founders, and she is the president of the board of Peace Promise. Let's give it up for her. Now, I will tell you, I did not know. Susan and I had a conversation months ago. We partnered up at an event, and we worked at the same building, at the same company, right? I didn't even know it. I'm like, this is God. This is God, right? But when I heard Susan share, oh my goodness, it just broke my heart. So many emotions that I felt. And every time, even when she shared it earlier in the pre-party, it was the same thing. So we so appreciate you, and we love you, and she's going to give us the address for tonight. All right. I'm going to take my dessert, too.
I'm glad you all came. I'm just honored that you're here. I know everyone, I speak for everyone on the board. In fact, you didn't make them stand, did you, Tim? I didn't see that. Okay. Can you stand if you're a board member? Would you mind? Look at these wonderful people. Friends, our board are the most amazing, hardworking, talented, intelligent, creative people that I have ever met. And we are so blessed to have them. And I know that many of you are connected through many of our other wonderful volunteers, some of our prayer team people, through many of our ambassador churches. We're connected to about 8 churches in the region at this point, where we have ambassadors in those churches. So those churches can say, we have an anti-sex trafficking ministry in our church, because we are in that church. So if any of you guys have an interest in partnering with us from your church and having a base in there, let me know. I'd love to talk to you about that. So sexual exploitation of vulnerable persons is a horrendous crime. It deeply, deeply wounds people, spirit, soul, and body. Nobody gets out of this without being wounded, regardless of whether it's illegal sex trafficking or prostitution that they seem to be saying yes to. They're all exploited, and there's a vulnerability of some sort, or they wouldn't be in it. As Lakita said, I've said many times, there's no little girl that this is her dream growing up. If you heard the stories that we've heard, you'd understand more about why that is. And I'm sure that most of you in this room probably haven't thought it through, like what would a life be like in prostitution or in sex trafficking. I can tell you it's horrible. I'm not going to tell you any stories, but I can tell you that it's horrible. There's abuse, and it's horrible, just horrible. After 14 years and an ever-growing number of success stories and horror stories and setbacks, we find ourselves at this point in the region being leaders and experts on this topic, on a topic that should never exist. I'm going to give you a little bit of a highlight reel of what Peace Promise has been up to. I'm not going to be up here for very long, but I want to give you a highlight reel of our year. Like everybody else, we were also touched by 2 years of upheaval through the pandemic, and we had to learn how to do our ministry in new ways. And as things reemerged and reopened, we met a whole new group of women. So like everybody, we adjusted just like you did. And this is probably, the last 6 months especially, have felt a little bit more normal to us, finally. But in just this last 12 months, we were contacted by an assistant district attorney of one of the counties where we minister to become a leader on a hands-on task force for sex trafficking. That means we get to give input, and that also means that we get to connect with law enforcement, people who are being trafficked. We've been on CBS 21. We had a survivor and our executive director. You're going to meet her a little bit later in the program. We were being interviewed on CBS 21. Our executive director also spoke on the Capitol steps at Life Fest, a big festival out near Hershey. We've spoken at many local churches and community organizations, and we were featured speakers at Messiah University this year. We've trained people all through the community on grooming, on pornography awareness. That's especially important to us because there's a link between pornography use and addiction and sex trafficking, and we're training all over the region. And most recently, we were featured in a Psychology Today article on the topic of trauma bonding. And that's something we unfortunately have to know a little bit about. And you can find that article if you go to our social media or our website. But more important, and the reason that we're here, is that we've supported dozens and dozens of women on a journey toward health and healing. And we've seen women leave sexual exploitation and become less vulnerable and more empowered this year with our support. And that's the most important thing that we do. Some didn't make it this year. And you're going to hear a little bit about that too. And that's also a part of our work. It's a gut-wrenching part of our work. But we're going to keep going and hope to prevent that the next time. We're poised to hire again, and that's really neat for us because we started in 2018 going from an all-volunteer organization to being able to hire with your generous support. And we are on the cusp. We are on like the edge of a cliff, just ready to jump into industry. We are so close. I don't have great stories to tell you yet. I'm going to have great stories to tell you very soon. But our dream since 2014 or 15 has been industry. One of the big challenges for the women that we serve is moving into really solid employment. And so we know that they continue to need our support as they move into employment. So it's our goal to own the industry. So it won't be too long until you hear about some businesses that we're heavily involved in or own so that we can bring women into those businesses so that they can work, make a good living, and continue to work with us on their life skills. Friends, our work is behind enemy lines work. I don't know what your faith is like, whether you believe we have an adversary or not. I do. We're going behind enemy lines to bring people back, to bring people home. So that is our main job, and we covet your prayers as much as anything else, as much as volunteering or anything else you could give. We covet your prayers as we do this work. I want to thank you all for coming, and there's a great program ahead. I am going to bring Jason Seaman up, and Jason is going to talk to us about what the guys at Peace Promise are up to, because you hear a lot of ladies and you hear about the work that we're doing. Pastor Jason is married to Pastor Patty, who's our executive director, and he's going to tell you a little bit about what the guys do at Peace Promise. So come on up, Jason.
Hi, I'm a little out of breath because I had to run, so I apologize. And I'm really shy, and you guys look amazing, so if I stutter, I apologize. No, I'm kidding. I'm not shy at all. So I want to talk to you guys about what Peace Promise is to the men, because we hear a lot about the women and what women get to do, and it's amazing. And as men, we also have an amazing job. We get to be men of integrity, men of honor, and men of grace. What does that mean in this culture? Well, without going too much into it, because we're all going to have different ideas of what that is, I'll tell you this. It means doing the right thing, even when it's the hard thing. It means having courage. Courage means having grace when it's not even warranted. Sometimes we have to protect, sometimes we have to love. I do this with two really good friends, another Jason, and Matthew, who I think is up in a closet somewhere doing something else. And it occurred to us one night as we're watching different guys going to the strip club, and we're usually ready to throw down. Like, if we got to throw down, we're going to throw down, and then tell them Jesus loves them. We believe in the fivefold ministry of love. But the reality is those guys needed someone to love on them too. They needed to know that they were important and that they had headed down the wrong path. And I'm not saying they get a pass But I'm saying whether there's a young lady in front of us or a man in front of us, we need to show them an example that the world isn't showing right now. And so we have the privilege and the honor to stand behind women doing some amazing things. Sometimes we get to protect them. Sometimes we just pray. And it may not seem like much, but to women who've never encountered safe men before, it is a privilege and an honor to stand before someone and to be safe. To be a dad, to be a grandpa, to be a brother, to be a friend. And we need more. We need more men willing to do that, whether you're serving a peace promise, whether you're at home, whether you're at work, it doesn't matter. That's the honor, that's the privilege that you have, is to be men of integrity, men of honor, men of grace, and above all else, display what love truly looks like to a world that's perverted it. Now, they gave me 5 minutes, and I'm a pastor, so that's dangerous, and I really want to go into some things on integrity, but I'm not going to. I had an iPad full of quotes, which I left at home. I had boots that go with this outfit, but I wore my Converse. So you can see how prepared I am tonight. The takeaway here is the right thing and the easy thing are rarely the same. Choose the right thing anyways, please. That's all I have.
Good evening. So I am going to talk a little bit about our auction this year. For those of you who've attended this event before, probably looks a little bit different than what you're used to, a little bit. Before, we would have some tables lined up and all of these fantastic baskets sitting around, and you would go write your bid on the clipboard, and you'd get to go home with your item if you want it, right? Well, last year we learned that an online auction is a really great opportunity to not only get our name out into the community, but to make new friends, and to really be able to promote the businesses that partner with us. And we love them. Because when we do this auction, there is some really, really cool stuff, as you've all seen. I noticed there is a battle raging over some Sight and Sound Theater tickets. I see you all. But it's much bigger than that. What our silent auction represents is a community who's coming together to tell our ladies that they are valuable and loved, and that we're willing to fight for them. And so whenever these businesses say, yes, absolutely, we would love to donate, when you have a group of women, many of whom have not heard, I will fight for you, as much as they should have, what we really do with this auction is not just really, really cool stuff, and there is some really, really cool stuff. I should plug that. But what it really is a love letter from our community. And that is why I love to do the silent auction every year. So now that I've gotten the feelings portion out of the way, let me tell you how you can go bid, right? So I want you all to hold up your program. You hold up the back of your program, y'all. Okay. You see it? And I'm gonna tell you to do something that I don't do often because I'm a professor and we don't do this. I want you to get out your phones. And I want you to scan this little QR code on the back of your program. You scan it, you call up where you would go to take a picture. Good question. Yep. And it's going to take you to our silent auction website. If you're watching online, our social media person is going to put that link in the comments too. Thank you, Megan. But if the scanning thing is just not working for you, that's fine. I listed the web address there too. And so what you can do is you can go scroll through all of these pictures of all of these really cool items that have been donated by members of our community. We have baskets, the ones that you can glance at tonight. This isn't even all of them. We have tickets to all kinds of cool things. We have aquariums, axe throwing. We have Senators baseball tickets. You name it, we have it. We have a lot of gift cards from members of our community, and then of course all of these cool gift baskets. And you can go look through all of those things and say, hey, that thing is really cool and I want to bid on it. And you set up an account, which will take you roughly 14 seconds. That is my estimate. And then you can bid on those items. And if you win, you can pick up your items on Monday evening right here in the lobby of McBick, or Tuesday morning right here in the lobby of McBick. Now, if you are like me and you are sitting here thinking, oh my goodness, my child has 14 sports practices, and I'm just not going to be able to do that. As a mom who spends 90% of my life sitting at youth lacrosse practices, I see you. But I will tell you, just reach out to us. Please don't let that be a hindrance from being able to participate in this year's auction. We are happy to work with you, and we can come up with another way to get your item to you. So don't stress about that. And so that is what our auction looks like this year. As you are walking around, go peek at all of our cool items, and then go bid. And the money goes back to Peace Promise to support the work that we do. So please do that. As you're walking around, I also hope you stop by the Soaps by Survivors table. Soaps by Survivors, that you're going to hear a little bit more about tonight, is an economic empowerment outreach of Peace Promise that was developed by a survivor many years ago. We found in our work that a lot of the women we work with struggle to kind of learn job skills and get employment, and that can be a huge barrier to being able to move on with their lives. And so providing these economic opportunities is so important. And so Soaps by Survivors came from that place of economic outreach, a place that we are hoping to go further in the future. And so the products are amazing for those of you who haven't tried them yet. Natural soaps and body butters. And y'all, I have the privilege of introducing our newest product, Friends. So who here knows our co-founder, Susan? Raise your hand. You all know her now, right? You all just met her. So one of our dear survivors said the other day, we should do a scent that smells like Susan. Can anyone guess what the scent that smells like Susan is? Patchouli. All you have to do is walk into her office and know that. So our newest body butter is called Sincerely Susan, and it smells like patchouli, and it is debuting tonight. You can get it for the first time tonight. For those of you online, it is now officially open. You can order it online there, too, for pickup right here at McBick. And so we thought it would be great to have a scent because of how much we love Susan. And isn't she great? Yep. Let's give her a round of applause.
I would hate to wonder what my scent would smell like. Chocolate. Hey, I must say, men, there are Soap by Survivor products out there for you and I. We have, and I don't know if this is anywhere else on the planet, but it is here in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. We have lip balm that is bacon.
Wow.
Come on.
Bacon.
And not all of these gifts are frou-frou-y gifts with pink slippers and things like that. We've got a Stanley toolbox. And gentlemen, we have in the back, actually, ladies and gentlemen, the tables that are underneath those, we have those are on auction as well, as you'll see in some real rustic wine glass holders that are made out of very similar materials. So make sure you check those out.
And don't forget coffee, right? Everybody loves coffee. There we go. Everybody loves coffee, right? So you should get some coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But hey, we wanted to just give a couple of shout outs too. So I'm halfway through with my desserts, right? So I'm saving the peanut butter chocolate for last. But we wanted to give a shout out to our volunteers who gave us our desserts tonight. Where are they at? I think they're probably out still work. Yay! Let's give a shout out for them. And then also, too, for Mechanicsburg Brethren in Christ for allowing us to have this event here. So let's give a warm round of applause for them, too. Now, we about to do something fun.
We are excited about this.
Now, let me tell you something. There's something in here that you probably don't know that's in here. Should I tell them what's in here?
Tell them what's in there.
So everybody have your tickets first. Everybody get your tickets out. Like, this is part. It's not like offering where you got to get your money out, but get your ticket out. Okay. So there's 3 prizes in here. One of them's a car. Psych.
That's a joke.
It's April Fool's Day, right?
It is.
It's April Fool's Day. Yeah. Sorry, there's no car in here. It wouldn't fit. But we have 3 amazing
We have
gifts.
3 great products. Yep.
Okay, the first one.
Okay.
Ooh. Everybody say, ooh. You see that? Look at that. Branded Peace Promise.
Yep.
Okay. Say, ooh.
And we have a Regal's $25 gift card.
Ooh.
Date night.
Date night. Who wants to go on a date? Ladies? Look, you see? Those hands are raised. Fellas, I hope that that you get it. And then we have this amazing book by our speaker,
Yep.
Lisa Michelle.
And it's signed. So,
Ooh.
yep.
Okay, so how,
All right,
how
let's
do you want to do
do
it?
it.
What do you
Let's
think?
do
I'm
the
going to go
drawing.
deliver.
You reach in.
You want me to go deliver, or you want me to pick too? Well, he shouldn't pick and hold it at the same time, right?
That's true.
Because you'll think that something's not. Okay.
And the first item is going to be the water bottle.
Water bottle, first item. And the number is, or the person is Jen Ryder or Ritter. Jen,
Come
where are you
on
at?
down.
Jen, where are you
Come
at?
on, let's give her a round
Yay!
of applause.
Jen, now we expect you to fill this with water. Okay, here you go. You're welcome. Thank you, Jen.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And the second person.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Gift card.
gift card, yep.
Date night. So if you want a date night, you better cross your fingers.
And date night goes to Angela Wenger. Come on down.
Angela. Where's Angela?
Hey, congratulations, Angela.
Thank you, Angela.
That's awesome.
Okay, and the last one is a signed copy. Okay. Ben LeClaire. Ben?
Where's Ben? Congratulations, Ben. There you go. Well, we're really honored tonight. Our executive director is going to come and introduce our guest speaker for tonight. Patty Seaman is our executive director, and since I've known Patty, I don't think I've ever met someone who has been more willing to roll up their sleeves, jump in the middle of your mud or your situation, your problems, your challenges, and love you unconditionally and show you the way out. Patty has relentlessly laid her life down, and I literally mean physically, has put her life in danger to help a woman again and again and again get free and find healing. Will you help me welcome Patty Seaman?
Thank you. I am so honored to be here tonight. I'm blown away every year when we have this banquet. We can't do it without you guys. Every one of you is actually what makes this possible. Tonight, it is my privilege and honor to introduce our guest speaker. And we met randomly. We started talking at a conference we were at, and we ended up getting ordained next to each other. We were there to both be ordained, and we found out we actually do similar ministries. And you ever meet those people where you just know that they're one of your people and you're supposed to be connected to them? That's what it was like. And, you know, God always puts people together for a reason. She's somebody that I can call when I'm hiding away with somebody that needs a safe house, and she'll immediately say, let me see if I have any resources, if I know of anybody. And we can pray for each other and support each other. So it's my privilege to introduce to you tonight author, speaker, pastor, outreach leader, mom, everything, Lisa Michelle.
Good evening. Whoops. Hold on, this never happens. Oh no. It's my little stand. Okay. Whew. Well. Okay, we're going to skip that. I don't know what happened. It is an absolute honor to be with you guys tonight. Getting a little bit of feedback. Thank you, Susan and Patty. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the work that you do. And Peace Promise and the board for the invitation to be here as well. Can you guys hear me? No. So I need a handheld. Let's take this. I'll turn. All right, we'll start over. There must be another mic on. There's another mic that must be on. There you go. All right, so it's an honor to be here. Thank you, Sandy and Patty, for the invitation to be here, and the board as well, and Peace Promise. Raise your hand if you've ever found yourself in a place in life where you've lost all hope. Yeah, me too. Maybe it was through the loss of a child or a loved one or a financial crisis, or maybe it was from being sexually exploited, or maybe you're in that hard place today. In the first half of my life, I never knew that hope was actually an option that existed. So let me share my story with you to give you some perspective. My exploitation started when I was 7 years old, you guys. The perpetrator, a trusted businessman who owned the local funeral home across the street from us. He had an apartment inside of that mortuary, and he lived this very quiet life, or so it seemed. He was actually a very vile, perverse man. And as far as we know, he went to his grave with all of his dark secrets. And most sexual predators are really good at hiding their secret life. And from the anti-trafficking work that I have done for the last 15 years, I can tell you that there is no one profile for a trafficker. They can really be anyone. I've seen them inside our churches, inside of our schools, our foster care systems, in the malls, in apartment complexes is another big one, and of course dating sites are real popular right now as well. And on social media, that's probably the most popular one since the pandemic. Pretty much where there's any vulnerable people. And we've seen them in strong leadership as well. So we've seen them in positions of church leaders. You've seen the news recently of some of the men that have exploited, unfortunately, and have fallen to that. Clergy, law enforcement, trusted businessmen, and believe it or not, there are women traffickers out there. We've seen a lot in our organization as well. So since the pandemic started, we've seen this huge increase in online activity, and traffickers work day and night hunting for anybody who's vulnerable, who needs attention and longing to be loved. And it's not just children. It's adult women who think that they met a nice guy on a dating site, only to find out they've met their worst nightmare. I've seen professionals that have had to keep their day jobs, and then they're being trafficked at night. Trafficking doesn't always look like what you think it would. But let me get back to my story. I didn't just fall into my exploitation. I was groomed, and my family was groomed. And since I was being sexually abused in my own home for over 10 years, this left me vulnerable. My dad was a raging alcoholic. He was a part of the Hells Angels, so I grew up in the bars. I did my homework in there, hanging out with the Angels in Oakland, California. Anybody ever hear of them? I know I'm a long ways away from there, though. And just being around this violence and this constant state of trauma. For half my life, I experienced self-hatred, terror, and emotional torment. And I had this belief deep inside of me that something was wrong with me, because I had no idea, you guys, what had happened to me, because I had no short-term memory of the abuse. You see, every time that I went to spend the night in that funeral home, this perpetrator, this pedophile, would drug me. And then he sexually exploited me through child sexual abuse material, CSAM, which is also commonly known as child pornography. It really is something out of a horror film, what I went through, and it amazes me that I can sit here and share this publicly, right? God's done an amazing miracle in my life for me to be able to share that. And just in the last few years, I've come forward with that part of my story. But at the age of 12, I turned to drugs and alcohol. It provided a way for me to cope with the complex sexual trauma and the abuse that I was going through. I started to run to the streets of San Francisco. We hung out on the street called Broadway, and it was littered with strip clubs, and at the very end was heavy metal clubs. There was 2 of them. And at 17 years old, a couple of friends of mine and I were drinking in a back alley. We saw a back door to a strip club and then a back door to a heavy metal club. One night, this guy comes out. He offers us fake IDs and says, hey, why don't you guys come inside here instead of drinking out here? So I meet my first boyfriend. He's the lead singer of a rock and roll band. And I end up meeting, shortly after that, my next boyfriend, who was another lead singer of a rock and roll band. And since I'm in this area, I'm sure you've heard of him, Bret Michaels from Poison. Anybody hear of that band? Yeah. So I entered into the rock and roll lifestyle at 17 years old, and really honestly not knowing any of my past, anything that had happened to me as a little girl. I hadn't self-identified yet. I didn't know what happened to me, and I didn't have a voice for it. So I end up meeting, about a little less than a year after that, I meet the drummer of another popular 80s band called Kix, K-I-X. Do you guys know them? I dated Jimmy for about 4 years, lived with him. I lived in Hagerstown, Maryland, you guys, when I was 18 years old. Anybody from there by any chance? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Okay, we need to talk. Yeah, when I was 18, I lived there for 4 years. And I traveled on the road with Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, you name it, all of them. And I was introduced to hardcore drugs and became a drug addict. And one night I had a close call. And the band and I decided that I need to go back to California, because that's where I'm from, San Francisco. And I went back, got into AA, knew I needed to get help. I knew I needed to get serious about my sobriety. And that was really short-lived. I became a makeup artist, and on my first night of being a makeup artist, I was invited into the underground club scene in San Francisco. I am living that lifestyle for about 7 years or so. I get introduced to the owner of the club. He's a socialite, hanging out with celebrities, and I get even more into my addictions. It became a lot worse for me. And after living this lifestyle for that long, I just became so empty inside, you guys. It was so broken. And I just felt so used and so hopeless. And my life didn't matter, or I didn't have any purpose in it at all. And so I became an esthetician. I'm working in the salon. My sister did nails, and she was doing a manicure on a guy, which wasn't popular back then. But I'm walking by her station, and he grabs me by the arm, and he said, hey, Lisa, I'd like to invite you to church this Sunday. I said, me? Church? Why would you invite a girl like me to church? I was literally dumbfounded, because nobody had done that. I didn't grow up in the church. I didn't know who God was. I really had no knowledge of him at all. And he said, you know what? You're right. You're probably one of the biggest sinners I've ever met in my life. You're probably going to catch on fire when you walk through those doors this Sunday too, Lisa. And he says, but I know exactly why you're going to go to church this Sunday. And I said, why? And he goes, because there's really hot guys there. God knew how to get this girl to go to church, you guys. I said yes, and I showed up to church that Sunday for all the wrong reasons. And I went to that church for a year, you guys, for all the wrong reasons. I will admit that. I dated the worship pastor. I dated everybody I could, and found out that the men in the church at that time were just as broken as me. So I took a year off of dating, and I decided I needed to purge of being with men and always trying to have somebody else fix me, right, and my problems. So one day, the pastor gave an altar call, and I jumped out of my seat, and I said, that's me. I'm a sinner. I need Jesus. So it was just so beautiful to be able to completely turn everything around. During that time, you guys, God delivered me from drugs and alcohol. It was a gift given to me in that time, completely delivered me from all of my desire to ever do that again. Isn't that beautiful? So a year later, after me detoxing off of men, it's my best way to describe it, I meet my husband, Jeff. Guess where I met him? At church. This is when all of my trauma surfaced. Everything surfaced for me, you guys. And during this time, I ended up being diagnosed bipolar, clinically depressed, under psychiatric care for many years because I had to fight. I wasn't getting out of it this time. I had to fight for my sanity. There were no resources out there like Peace Promise. Not during that time. I can't even imagine what it would have been like to have you guys. There were no terms commercially, sexually exploited, or sex trafficked back then. But I did find a skilled psychiatrist, a caring pastor who took me under his wing, and a husband and a family that stood in the gap with me through that journey of healing. And I fought really, really hard, you guys, to be the woman that I am today. Through my journey of healing, what we discovered was I was actually experiencing complex sexual trauma, complex PTSD, and clinical depression, all from being commercially sexually exploited. When a child is drugged and then forced to watch pornography for hours on end and then reenact everything that they saw, it interferes with their normal brain development. But my life today is a testimony of how God can heal the brokenhearted, and he can bind up their wounds, and how freedom can be experienced by the oppressed. And the brain can heal from such atrocities, you guys. And I give God all the glory for that, for what he's done in my life. Thank you. So years later, I decide to stop the medications that I'm on. They're very serious medications. I wanted to get pregnant. I felt like I'd gone through inner healing, deliverance. I'd really gone through the process, and I wanted to be in touch with my body, and I wanted to get pregnant. My doctor really did everything in his power at the time to keep me from making that decision, but in the year 2000, my son Caleb was born. And you guys, I've been completely drug-free now for 23 years. I do want to say that this is my story and that there is no stigma to being on medication. I do realize that because they saved my life. They saved others' lives as well. And that medication was there for me when I needed it the most. And if I had to go back on it today, I would, you guys, okay? I've been married for 25 years. I think that's my biggest miracle right there. And my husband would vouch for that. We have 2 beautiful children. Our son graduated UTSA this last December with a Bachelor of Science degree, specializing, you guys, and get this, cybersecurity. Just going after all the bad guys. Isn't that crazy? He's the very first one on my side of the family to get educated and to go to college. So how beautiful is that? Our daughter is a thriving teenager. She's on her varsity drill team in her high school, and she is determined to get a scholarship and be college-bound herself. Now today, we fast forward to now. I am the CEO of Lillian Company. We're a social justice enterprise as well. I'm the founder of Untethered Ministries in San Antonio, Texas. We do very similar work, as Patty was saying, as Peace Promise, and we have an outreach and advocacy program called NSA Girls. You guys, I just wrote that book. It came out on January 14th. That was a huge miracle in my life as well. And God just totally lined that all up as well. And I'm able to share my full story in that. In the last 4 years, I've worked on legislation at our state capitol in Texas with many of our senators and legislators. The last legislation I testified and worked on the SMART Act to be brought into law. And as of September 1st, 2021, the law in the state of Texas was changed so that you have to be 21 years old to work in a strip club instead of 18. That's a big deal. The law was also changed that it is a felony on your first-time offense if you're caught buying sex. Yeah, that's a big deal. We're only the second state to do that. And we want to bring both these laws into all the states, you guys. I remember when I moved to Maryland, I was so excited. I was 18 and the drinking limit was 18 and I could drink anywhere. It was really cool as compared to California back then. So Pennsylvania, there's a report card that comes out every year from Shared Hope International, and they have 6 different areas that they grade on. And that report just came out not long ago, and Pennsylvania actually got an F. And here's why. The key areas of concern were prevention and training, continuum of care, and identification and response to victims. So this state does have a little bit of work to do. And I do want to say that even though the overall grade was an F, you guys got an A in criminal provisions and tools for victim-centered criminal justice response. So that's good, because we don't have that as much in Texas. So that's great you guys got that. And you can go look them up. I'm not affiliated with them, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea if you ever want to legislate or look into what's happening in your state. You know, you could do that as well. I've worked inside of our juvenile correctional facility systems with minors that were confirmed as trafficked. I'm also on a Survivor Leaders Council where we review policy and legislation. And I've worked on special operations with HSI, FBI, all of law enforcement. And we provide a victim-centered approach as a survivor advocate and leader, and I've seen the needs firsthand for victims. So I just want to share a quick story with you about one of those nights. It was about 5 years ago, before law enforcement had a victim-centered approach. I was invited into one of their operations. They had never done this before. And this particular night, they were arresting the pimps, and they were arresting the girls. And they would bring the girls to me into a room, and basically, I was given the privilege, is how I see it, to be the very first one to talk to her and to help her self-regulate, help her understand what was happening and everything. Things have changed so much now, though, the way that we do it, but it was a really incredible moment. She was handcuffed when she was brought to me, so I asked the officer if he would take her handcuffs off, and he did. And then he stood right next to her, and I said, "Can you actually leave the room? That would be really cool." So he did. And then I watched a broken, fully bruised, and battered 30-something-year-old woman who had been arrested multiple times. Everybody in law enforcement knew her by her first name, began to share her story with me, you guys, and her pain. And she leaned into who we were as an advocate and a survivor and a friend for her in that moment. And for 10 to 15 minutes, we treated her with care in a room alone, and we just met all her felt needs. And something happened in that moment that I experienced that I will never, ever forget. I remember the moment of seeing her and watching her be seen, feeling heard, and feeling valued. And I saw her walls come down, you guys. And during this time, she told me, with tears streaming down her face, that left a puddle just like on her leg. And she asked me, "Lisa, by any chance, are you guys a faith-based organization?" And I answered, "Yes, we are." And she said, "For the first time in years, Lisa, I feel hope rising up in me. And I didn't think that I could ever, ever find that again in this life that I'm living. I'm under the control of a gorilla pimp, and I always thought that I would die on these streets." And let me tell you, she was half dead already, you guys. Pretty sure her arm was broken during that time, and she had been abused in ways that you can't even imagine. That night was the first time that I was brought in to demonstrate a victim-centered approach with law enforcement. She had not experienced that in the multiple times that she was arrested. Let's just start there. She was arrested. Yeah, we've come a long way, though. But that night, she knew that God was with her and that he loved her, that he saw her, and she was overwhelmed by that visitation that night. And in that short amount of time, she opened up and she connected with us, and trust was formed. Every human that is forced, manipulated, coerced into these acts of abuse deserve this type of treatment and unconditional love. These victims, whether a child or an adult, need us to stand in the gap for them and give them back their humanity and their voice and guide them to live productive lives after their abuse. We must not turn a blind eye or say, "I don't want to hear these stories," because I know they're super hard to hear and they make us uncomfortable. These women and children need community. They need peace promise. They need someone to care for them and to keep showing up for them consistently and to have resources and to equip them to have a better quality of life. Brene Brown says, if we see a problem but we don't see the solution, then we're part of the problem. But if we see a problem and we can be a part of that solution, then you've got yourself a calling. And this is what Peace Promise does, is to assist in recovering hope and strengthening the lives of those impacted by sexual exploitation in your community. And you too can become a part of that solution by supporting the work that they are doing, just like you are tonight. This is beautiful, you guys. It is beautiful to see so many of you, the impact that each one of you in this room can make in a ministry like this. And since I'm on the front lines in the state of Texas, and I see all the organizations that are out there, I believe that the approach that Peace Promise does is the approach that really makes the biggest difference that's out there as well. So having the honor to do all that I do every day has been something I never, ever thought I would be capable of. And like I said, it's great evidence that the brain can heal from extreme complex sexual trauma and that God can supernaturally heal people from extreme abuse. And there is hope for the sexually exploited, abused, and trafficked. So thank you for allowing me to share my story. Thank you for giving me space tonight and for seeing me and hearing me, because when I share for the ones who have not found their voice yet. And my hope is each time that you encounter a sexually exploited victim or survivor, I want you to remember somewhere deep inside of that woman, man, or child that does not make sense, their behaviors are erratic. You know the ones I'm talking about. Those hard cases, those hard to understand stories. The person you think that there's just no way that they're ever going to recover from that, because that was me, you guys, is a woman that can look like just like me. And there's a Lisa Michelle, an unlikely warrior, waiting inside of them. So thank you.
Isn't she absolutely amazing? I love how God puts connections together when we're not expecting them. So we are going to go into a part of tonight where we're going to share some stories with you. And like they mentioned earlier, not every story has the best ending. So the first story we're going to show a video to start out with. This video originally aired in 2016, and we actually did it our very first dinner event here, it was a spaghetti dinner. We had like tables set up. It was like all picnic style. It was kind of cool. But this first was shown then. So we want you to watch this, and then we're going to get into some testimonies.
It's like sad because like as women, like we shouldn't have to, I should never have to come here and feel like this is my comfort zone. Like this is where I'm comfortable. Like I should feel like that at home or alone. And you sit here in front of all these men, and at the time you're fine, you're comfortable. You even feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like you're just in control. It's good, it feels good to be in control of some man that'll just sit here and give you money. They make you feel beautiful. It makes you feel sexy. But if you actually really think about it in all reality, they're not making me feel beautiful or sexy. I'm an object to them. This place is a bad place. This is bad. There's nothing good about this. I just want to be saved. Like, I just want to be okay. I want to be able to have something happen and I know it's going to be okay. You guys make me feel like that. You guys make me feel like no matter what, it's going to be okay. I love the prayers. I love that they pray for me. I love that they pray for everybody.
So that was an introduction. Am I on? Yeah. That was an introduction into our friend Erica. And Erica was a very unique individual. From the moment we met her, we knew that she was a leader. We knew that we wanted her connected to us, and we wanted to be connected to her. Susan will tell you that we never dreamed of moving forward with our industry goals without Erica, because we saw her as being one of those people that would be in a leadership role. And sadly, on December 28th, her life was taken. And I know that I personally have not recovered from that. I am still in a phase of denial. I don't even want to accept it. I had to watch that video a couple times this week, and it was really hard to watch it because I'm not ready to accept that she's gone. She was a person, she'd always pop up at the grocery store or wherever. Like, I'd be driving down the road and there she was. And like, she was just bigger than life in so many different ways. But tonight, I have the honor to have her best friend here, the person who knew her better than anybody else, the person who put up with her on a continual basis, and the person who loved her and still loves her. And I know she's hurting, and she hasn't been able to process her stuff either. And she's the person that will make sure that Erica's kids are always taken care of. And with that, we haven't announced yet, but I'm going to announce it now, that we have a fundraising goal tonight of $50,000. And when we meet that goal, we will be putting $6,000 into a fund called the King's Fund. Erica's last name was King. It's going to be the King's Scholarship Fund. And that money is set aside for children whose lives have been impacted by the domestic violence against their mothers that we serve. So the reason it's $6,000 is because in 2021, we had a total of 6 children whose mothers were violently attacked. And that's domestic violence, but it goes hand in hand with the commercial sex industry. There's vulnerabilities that are exploited and abused. Had Erica said, "Please come get me," I would not have stopped for a minute. My husband and his friends would have immediately put on their tactical gear, and they would have came with me, and we would have took her and her kids, and I would have left town to not let what happened happen. But we didn't have that opportunity. Nobody expected it. So I'd like, and Erica wanted to come to this banquet, and she wanted to speak. That was one of her goals. And she actually told me that. And she had told me that for years, and I told her she had to quit seeing customers. And she looked at me and she goes, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "No, seriously, like, you can't see customers and come." Like, she didn't hide what she did. She was true to who she was. And this year she had to ask us for some help with some of her bills, and she said, "I haven't seen a customer since last November." So it had been over a year. So she would have been here speaking this year. So, Bianca, what do you think that Erica would have wanted to share?
I wish I would have known to watch that video before I came here today.
I'm sorry.
So I've seen the video before, but to sit and hear her talk about her need to feel safe and knowing that she had people that she could feel safe with, and he was kind of her safe haven, even though it was chaotic at times. And right before disaster struck, it was like the calm before the storm, so she felt her safest right before she died.
And what do you think that Erica would want everybody here to know about how she felt about Peace Promise?
She loved Peace Promise. I mean, this was like her thing. She brought girls over all the time. She's the reason why in like my moment of need, I was like, who can I call? Like, who can keep this together? And I only had one person in mind. I was like, I need to call Patty, because Patty's the only one that can fix this right now. And I know you were that person for her too.
Yeah. Our dedication to Erica and her kids will never end. If we get a call in 5 years that says one of her children needs something, we are going to step up to the plate and we're going to meet that need, because we love Erica and our love doesn't stop. And we do kinship care. Kinship care means that Erica was part of our family, which means that her children are part of our family, and that's how we work. We don't do a program, we do care. And there's a big difference between putting somebody through a program and caring for somebody. And what people need to have hope and to be able to move forward is people who care about them. They don't need a program with rigid guidelines. I mean, sometimes they do, you know, they need to go through recovery and stuff like that. But ultimately what they need is they need that kinship care. They need to feel connected. They need to feel loved. They need to know that no matter what they do, we're not going to walk away. They could be doing great for 6 years and then have an incident where a curb jumps out and hits their car, and they have to call you in the morning to come pick them up. And they know that you're still going to come because you love them. You might come with a lecture, but that's what parents do, right? But you're going to come because you love them. So we're going to show you another video, and this one could have ended the same way, and it should have ended the same way, if I'm being honest. Last year when we were here, we had just came out of this. I had taken off out of town. One of our volunteers gave me a wonderful property out in the middle of nowhere for us to stay, and we were there for a while. This girl had been dumped at a hospital, left for dead, with a body temperature of 52 degrees. And the hospital would not give up on her. We finally found her. She was in Richmond, Virginia. And after 3 weeks of hospitalization, I almost collapsed when I heard that she was leaving the hospital with the person who had done that, who was her trafficker. And we called the social workers at the hospital, everybody, nobody could do anything. So she left with him, and she immediately knew it was a mistake, and she kept turning on her tracking on her phone so I could see where she was at. And then she was allowed to come visit her children and me. He watched us. He asked her if she wanted a car, and the car happened to be him describing my car that we were in with her children. He watched my house. He watched everything. And I told her, if you'll just leave, we'll just go. And she said, well, where are we going to go? I said, I don't know right now, but if we get in the car and drive, Susan will tell us where to go. Susan will always figure it out. I have that confidence that no matter what happens, if I put somebody in my car and just drive, Susan will tell me where to go. And I did collapse on my kitchen floor when she called me back and she said, no, I'm leaving with him. And my husband and his friends followed them. And I got a video of him in Harrisburg where he wasn't allowed to be, which was very helpful. But 4 days later, I got a phone call, and she was about 2 hours away. And she said, I need to go, he's going to kill me. And I said, are you ready to give up your electronics? And she said yes. And that's when I knew she was actually ready, because she was willing to hand over her phone. So we went and got her. I had to rent a car because he knew our vehicle. We had to take all of her belongings and put them out in a parking lot at a Wawa and sort through them to make sure there was no trackers. Her phone went in the garbage can. Her laptop was taken by somebody to wipe clean. Everything was gone, and she couldn't have access to electronics because she was still vulnerable to go back. And we finally found a program for her. So I want to show you her video of where she's at today.
Hi, Callie. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really glad we're here today. So it is March 10th, 2022. And can you remember where we were on March 10th, 2021?
I do remember we were in a super secret location, just kind of hiding for both of our safety.
Yeah. And would you mind sharing with everybody here at our benefit tonight why we were doing that? Like
Yes.
what led up to that?
I mean, there was a lot, but the main reason was because we were hiding from a man that I thought wanted to be my boyfriend, and he just ended up, he was just very dangerous, and you guys, you came to get me from the hotel. We didn't, and I know that he was still like trying to reach out to me via social media. So we kind of just had to hide.
And so where are you now and how are you now?
Well, I am in a really beautiful location in the most beautiful place in the world. And I'm really good. I've actually never been this good in my life. Like I'm 28 and I've never been this well. Yeah, I'm really good.
You've been doing a lot of healing work and a lot of really intense stuff, huh?
A lot, yeah, a lot of intense therapy. However, I feel like just God has been so faithful, like in guiding that and also giving me like a beautiful place to heal in.
Yeah. Since I've been there, I can say that it is absolutely beautiful.
Yes, it is.
So what role did Peace Promise fill for you in all of this?
Oh, I don't ever know how to answer that question because literally, like, if you weren't in my life and, you know, Peace Promise, of course, like I really, when I say I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be alive, I wouldn't be well, you know. So the role that Peace Promise has filled is like just everything, like everything. You know, when I was stressed out and I needed cigarettes, but like you guys didn't want me to get cigarettes from some random person. Like you guys were always like, oh no, we'll get them for you, you know, look to the little things, you know, little things like that. And then like, you know, big things like stuff for my kids. And yeah, you guys are just everything.
Well, we love you very much. And we're so proud of you. So just to end up today, is there anything that you would want to share with our donors that are either in person or watching online about Peace Promise?
Yeah, I would. I think sometimes there's like doubts, like, you know, as if like, does this money actually help people? Like, you know, is this really something I should do? Like, you know, I feel like there's so many questions sometimes, and I can really tell, you know, all of you guys that are watching this that like I'm just one of many women in Central Pennsylvania that have received help. Am I allowed to say that, Central Pennsylvania?
You are, yeah.
Okay. That have received help. And, you know, when you donate, like it really truly does benefit for love and for freedom. And, you know, if you can do it, I would say it's totally worth it. And I appreciate it. I know my daughter appreciates it. And my children, and yeah.
Well, we just adore you. We love you. And we are so proud of you and so proud of all the accomplishments that you've made. You've done all the hard work, and we know that. So we're very proud of you, and we're just going to keep cheering you on. Thank you. She is doing amazing, and she has put in a ton of hard work. And there's one key part there. She's not with us right now, but she's not away from us. I am still one of her main support people. I work with the center where she's at to make sure she's provided support, because when somebody leaves our care, we know that if we have a victim here in Central Pennsylvania, if we try to put them in a safe house right here in Central Pennsylvania, they're too vulnerable. And they likely will go back to their trafficker, their abuser, their pimp, because it's what they know. It's that trauma bond. So we know that we need to actually send them away. So across our country, we need to have networks. We need to have like-minded ministries working together to solve this. For her case, we're not done. Her trafficker has found her, what state she's in. So now we have to come up with the next plan to keep her safe. For all we know, he could have a fake Facebook profile and be watching us right now and looking at her and thinking, oh, I can go back and exploit her again. But the thing he doesn't realize is she's getting stronger and stronger every day. What he doesn't realize is she has a team of people standing behind her who will tell her that she doesn't need that. And she is getting to the point where she knows that he's not safe. So we don't know what the next step is, but we do know that the next step takes her further on her journey to healing. So we have one more video that I would like to introduce to you tonight. And this was one of those, again, God connections. I was sitting next to Carla, who actually was our guest speaker last year at our banquet, who runs a safe house close to here at their banquet back in October. And this spoken word video came on, and I just froze. I said, I love this girl. And before anything really went on, I just absolutely loved it. And she said, oh, I can connect the two of you. So she connected us. And we have never met in person, but I feel like she's part of my heart. I love her. She is a survivor. And I have had the pleasure and the opportunity to kind of like push her a little bit and say, hey, tell me what your worth is. Hey, tell me this. No, that's not okay. And yeah, I agree with you. And just have those really in-depth conversations. So I would love to introduce you to my friend Christina Glacklin via video.
What comes to mind when you hear that term? Is it the kind of milk you prefer to drink, or the typical charge on your cell phone battery? Or like me, how sure you are about the outfit you're wearing? See, 2% could be the amount of food you eat that's actually considered healthy, and at the same time, the amount of body fat you wish you had, but I won't get into all that. Let's just go over some fun facts. Did you know that only 2% of the population have green eyes? And only 2% of Americans are mixed with 2 or more races, and only 2% of abortions are considered non-elective, and only 2% of human trafficking victims will ever live to share their story, and only about 2% of that 2% will ever have the strength to speak. And then there's me. And as part of that 2%, I owe it to the 98 to say what they can't, to say, help me. Slavery still exists, and that girl you see in porn is probably being raped, even though she's not held down by her wrists. As she's being taped, she's being held down by risk. The risk of saying, no, I don't want to sleep with him. Please don't beat me again. I don't want to be drugged anymore. The risk of standing up when she's being forced to lay down, and that risk is death. Not that she's currently living, but she still has breath and a hope that one day she'll leave the 98 and join the 2, that she will not die as a victim, but live as a survivor. See her. Hear her. I was her. And I have hope that maybe those odds will change. Maybe minds will change. Maybe you will hear me telling you, I only lived it for a week, but nightmares do come true. And thank God he saved me through the hands of a human. And you are a human whose hands God would like to use. You are a human whose ears God would like to use. You are a human whose eyes God would like to open. We're so deaf and so blind by our own lives that we can't even see the 98. And they're the majority. I'm nothing but a minority, but you can see me because I'm sitting right in front of you. Against all odds, maybe a divine plan to set captives free, but will you see me? Because I wasn't saved in vain. I have a name. It is 2%. And thank God I'm now 100% sure that I still have a purpose to serve, but will you see her? Just as you see me. And please, do something. You know, after I went to the police and I told them what I went through, All I can remember is this female officer saying to me, "Your mom let you live alone in Las Vegas at 18? I took them back to the hotel. They knew where this man was. They could take his fingerprints off my car, and they didn't do anything. There wasn't any support for me. There wasn't anywhere for me to go. So I just tried to pick up the pieces of my life, and I tried to go back to work. I took the police report to them, and I said, this is where I was. It wasn't no call, no show, and they still let me go because, well, they were right. I needed some time to heal, but I had no space to heal. I became homeless and unemployed and very broken. The panic attacks I endured, all of it, I didn't know how to do life after that. I didn't know how to do life before that. And now 15 years later, people like Patty exist. Peace Promise exists. And other survivors don't have to struggle as long as I did. There's somewhere that they can go. There's someone that they can call. Actually, recently, just 2 days ago, I wrote a letter to LAPD because I want to get a copy of the police report. And I remember it was late. It was the middle of the night. And I was thinking, Patty would be so proud of me. And I've never even been a part of their organization. I've never received services from them. I've just had conversations with Patty. And I thought to myself, Patty would be so proud of me. And then it hit me. If I knew Patty 10 years ago, 15 years ago, she would have made sure I had whatever documents I needed. She would have been there for me. But now I'm just glad that I can help others by sharing my story, by speaking out for them, so that they can have a Patty in their life. They can have that promise of peace that God gives to all of us. What can you do? I've done what I can, but no one can do everything. Everyone can do something, and I just ask for you to search your heart and ask God to show you what it is that he would have you do. Thank you for your time today, and God bless you.
What do you say after that? In the scriptures, we see that Jesus was moved with compassion. He saw a need, and it caused him to do something about it. And that's what we're being asked to do, is to do something. I will tell you, when I look at Susan, I look at Patty, and I look at the board, they look like regular, ordinary people just like us. But don't let their looks fool you. They're a bunch of ninjas. They will go in those dark places. They will go into those strip clubs. They will take those calls at 2 o'clock in the morning while we're asleep to possibly go and help one of our neighbor's children, possibly help one of our relatives' children. That's what they're doing. And you may say, well, I may not, Lakita, I may not be able to go into a strip club, or I may not have that ability, or that may not be my personality, but guess what? You can still do something. Auction can still do something. Envelopes on the table, you can still do something. By doing that, you're still partnering. You're still going in. You're still giving hope. You're still saying, I believe in you. Some of these individuals may not be believing in themselves at that time. But the donation that you give, the support that you give, shows that we believe in you.
Yeah, that's right. So you'll find on your tables, I want to tell you different ways you can participate. There are several different ways that you can participate. With Peace Promise, you can be one of our partners, and you'll find materials on your table. So let me just remind you of some things we said earlier, that you can go and bid at the online auction. We're not auctioning here in person. That's online. It closes tomorrow, so you have till tomorrow to go in and bid, and then you can pick up on Monday. So you can do that. Go to our website, peacepromise.org. So you can give a one-time gift. If that's something that you feel the Lord's stirring you to do, you can give a one-time gift. You'll see on your tables, there are white envelopes there. I have one here in my hand. They're on your tables. You can put a check in there. You can put cash in there. You can make the check out to Peace Promise. I should have asked you, Susan, Patty, is that correct? Yeah. Okay, there you are. Hi.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, you can make
see,
the
she's a
checkout.
ninja. She's on the floor. I
She's
didn't
on
even
the
see her.
floor. So you can make the checkout to Peace Promise. And you can even go to our website if you're more in the digital realm. That's totally great too. We made a place for you. You can go to our website, go to Get Involved, and you can click on there to give. It says there's a spot there that says donate. But also on your table, you have a brochure like this. If you go inside there, you can give by credit card. There's a white form in there. You can do credit card through there as well if that's the mode of payment that you would like to do. Also, you'll find these cards on there. It says Hope Giver on it. What is a Hope Giver? I'm glad you asked. A Hope Giver is someone that wants to make monthly donations to Peace Promise. You can do $25, $50, $100, $500, whatever you can do, whatever you're able to do, every penny helps. Let me tell you the difference between, we're grateful for all givings. One-time gifts, they are such a blessing. An ongoing monthly gift actually helps us pay monthly expenses that show up every single month. Not surprises as much as every month. There are different payments that we have to make, and this helps us deeply. If you want to be a hope giver, you can fill that out as well. Also, you can purchase items in the lobby for Soap by Survivors, or you can go to our website as well to make purchases there. You can also volunteer. Tonight happened because of volunteers. Everything that we do, I was talking to one of our board members this week, and I hope this is okay to say, I won't say your name, but she said to me, yep, every Thursday night I go to the strip clubs. I say to my kids when I'm walking out the door, Mama's going to the strip clubs. So this is what volunteers do. They go in and they love on these ladies. Now, not everybody gets to go in there. Not everybody gets to go in there. But there are people who made desserts tonight. Every dessert was donated tonight and made.
And they were good.
This was not a bakery. We did not pay money for a
all of
bakery.
mine.
Exactly. They were all donated to us by people who love Peace Promise. You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram because we're constantly posting ways to pray, things that you can do, updates, whatever you want to know. But we furnished one of our girls that came out of the industry. We furnished her entire apartment recently because we posted online what we needed, and people said, I got that. I can't go to a strip club, but I've got a kitchen table. So be a part of as a volunteer for that. And there's also events, and you can go to our website as well to sign up to be a volunteer. So we appreciate everything that you feel like you are able to do. Everything makes a difference. Thank you so much for loving the women in our industry that we are having the opportunity to minister. Thank you for doing that.
And another thing, too, share the mission. So if you did not take your picture outside, I would encourage you to do that. You know, get some snapshots. We didn't take any selfies. We got to do some selfies out there. So get your friends, take some selfies back there. Hashtag on your social media, hashtag Peace Promise. This is how we get the message out too, okay?
That's right.
Yeah. So right now what we wanted to do, we're getting ready to end our night, but we have an amazing singer. I love her. She sounds so good. Alicia's going to render us a selection, and I want you to hear the words to this song. It's just so powerful, and we believe that it totally aligns with the mission of Peace Promise.
So as she's singing, you can fill out your cards, and anything that you want to donate, you can put it in the baskets. And as soon as we're finished tonight, our board members will come around and collect those.
And I just want to encourage you tonight, as I'm singing also, just to give a gift of prayer. You are not hidden. There's never been a moment you were forgotten. You are not hopeless. Though you have been broken, your innocence stolen, I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. There is no distance that cannot be covered over and over. You're not defenseless. I'll be your shelter, I'll be your armor. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear you whisper you have nothing left. But I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear you whisper you have nothing left. But I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. Oh, I will never stop fighting to reach you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. In the middle of the darkest night, in the middle of the hardest fight, I will rescue you.
Thank you so much to all of our wonderful volunteers, especially to our volunteers who make treats and yummy food each week for our girls. Thank you to all of our event sponsors.
Thank you to our churches for your love and support. Thank you to our team of amazing prayer warriors.
Thank you to our board of directors. Thank you to our generous donors. You make such a difference in the lives of our ladies. And thank you to all of our survivors. You are the real superheroes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for, yeah. And thank you, Alicia. I love that song. It's so powerful, and Alicia's really says such a deep, she's a deep well herself. So thank you for your generosity. Thank you for loving. Thank you for your prayers. Like I said earlier, every prayer makes a difference. And if that's the only thing that you can do to partner with us, that means everything to us. So just thank you for being a part of Peace Promise.
Yeah, and thank you for coming out tonight and listening to Tim and I. Hopefully we were okay. I mean, he's okay, but hopefully you enjoyed us. I enjoyed my dessert. Again, I ate all of it. It was good. If anybody has any leftover, or if you see any in the back, please bless me with it afterwards. That
They
would be your
actually
part.
are in the back with trays,
oh my
everybody.
goodness, see
So
the
there you go.
volunteers? See, that's
There
what I'm
you
talking
go.
about. That's what I'm
There you
talking
go.
about. So again, take some pictures. I want to make sure. I want to see y'all taking pictures. You know what? After this, I'm going to actually walk out there. If I don't see y'all taking pictures, I'm going to take your phone, right? So make sure you're back there taking pictures. And listen, wasn't Lisa amazing tonight? So we are so fortunate. She said that her book just came out in January. So listen, y'all, there's books back out there. You need to purchase her book. She's going to be back there. You can talk to her, and you can get a signed copy. And I'll go back to pictures. Lisa, can I take pictures with you? Let's see, she'll take pictures with you. Get your phones out. So that's what I want to make sure that everybody does tonight. So it has been fun hanging out with you guys on a Friday night.
That's
it's like
right.
Friday night.
Yep, that's right.
Go straight home, though. Don't be hanging out, y'all. Go straight home.
Yep.
Yep.
Bless you guys. Grab desserts.
See ya. Have a
Check
good
out the
one.
online auction stuff. Go home, put bids in. Bless you. Have a great night.